You're listening to the What the Wrestling Podcast, the show that brings you all things wrestling with your host, RJD.
Oh, you already know what time it is.
Perfect.
Smackdown Collision Review. Man, oh man, we had a lot going on, a lot of sports, a lot of fighting, a lot of wrestling, boxing, UFC. We had everything this weekend, goddammit. And it was beautiful. Shout out everything that happened this weekend. Fun time to be a sports fan, wrestling fan, all of the above. But as you well know, we are about to get into everything. So let us not waste any more time. Let's go. Yes. Tis I, RJD here. Welcome to What the Wrestling. I am your host once again, RJD, coming to you live from the recorded session. It's all good, man. Beautiful day today. Not too hot, not too cold. Beautiful summer day here in New York City. Everything is all good. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the video. Appreciate you all. Let's get the housekeeping out the way. Hit the goddamn like button. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. What the Wrestling, and follow me. You will see the ticker flowing across the bottom of your screen. Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok, SoundCloud, and Apple Podcasts. I am going to start getting everything back up and running really soon, so look out for that. Last week had a bit of a hiatus, had some stuff going on, but baby, we are back. We are back to find out what the hell happened on Collision and Smackdown. So, once again, thank you for everything. Appreciate everybody. We back, baby. All right, let's talk about Collision. So, AEW Collision. What's good? First things first. AEW Collision is turning out to be a really good show. What are we? 6 weeks in now? AEW Collision is phenomenal. AEW Collision is really good. I know there's a lot of people comparing it to Dynamite. They're like, oh, is it the B show? Is it the A show? Listen, at the end of the day, this is the B show. Dynamite is the A show. But if they keep going like this and they keep giving us good shows like this, I can't complain. Everybody that they're not using, they should put them on Collision. If you're not using somebody, give them some on Collision. The only thing I want to see on Collision is a little bit more story. They got the Andrade thing going on right now. He had a banger with Buddy Matthews. They got the CM Punk thing. Now he brings up the title. Okay, cool. Let's continue to build up some stories. Let's get some stories in there with the women. Need some water. Let's get some stories in there with the women. Let's figure this out. We need to continue to build some long-term stories, continue to build it up properly, and everything will be fine. I don't know what the hell they're going to do next week because we got SummerSlam.
Nope.
So at the end of the day, going against SummerSlam,
It was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
that's an L. They're going to get a lot of DVR ratings next week because them going head to head with SummerSlam, that ain't it.
Stupid.
Ain't no way in hell their ratings going to get hit hard. But listen, it's 1 week. It will pass. Continue to build. It's going to be beautiful. So let's run down this really quick. We had Andrade El Idolo versus Buddy Matthews in a ladder match for Andrade's mask. Holy hell. These guys are two of the most, I don't even know if we can call it underrated, but at the end of the day, they are two of the most talented wrestlers in either promotion. severely underused. Buddy Matthews, now I'm glad he's being used on the regular basis on Collision. Andrade, he was gone for a while. Now he's back. Awesome. But these brothers are severely underused, and I'm just glad to see them in something meaningful. We had a lot of ladder spots. Sunset flip off the ladder from Andrade to Buddy Matthews. That looked like it sucked for real. The end came where Julian Hart handcuffed Andrade, but he kicked the chair into Buddy Matthews, and Julian Hart threw the key. So he took the key, unshackled himself. After he unshackled himself from the ropes, tied up, he throws the key into the crowd. But of course, they had bolt cutters.
Stupid.
and they had the plan B. They had the bolt cutters. They uncut. Buddy Matthews uncut himself while Julia Hart tried to choke him out. Climbs up the ladder with her. Is thinking about Death Valley Driver and her ass through the table. Puts her onto the ladder. She smacks him like 3 times. He mushes her, pie faces her into Buddy Matthews through a table, and Andrade gets his mask. This was awesome. This was awesome. The handcuff spot, the improvising because Andrade threw the key, to having the bolt cutters, Matthews bolt cutting himself free, but Julia Hart basically getting thrown into him through a table. I'm like, this is great. This is what we need. Andrade is amazing. He was amazing on NXT, Black and Gold. He was amazing on Dynamite. I'm glad to see him back. I don't want him to be losing so much. I think Andrade should be fighting. He should be coming. He should be fighting for a title soon, a mid-card title. And then build his way up. You can build around Andrade. All you got to do, I mean, he speaks enough English to get himself over. Like, people like Andrade. He was a heel. He was a bad guy in NXT. Came over here. He had the whole faction. But people like Andrade. They do. It's like we don't want to boo him because we know how good he is. He's been gone for so long, and we're happy to see him back. So that was great. We had Darby versus Minoru Suzuki, and these guys beat the holy hell out of each other because it's Darby and Minoru Suzuki. And Darby does the torpedo Darby, messing up the Kaza Minare before the fight even begins. And crowd didn't like that, but Darby didn't care. Ref failed to keep control of this. Suzuki began beating up on Darby's ribs, but Allen got upset. He got the upset win when he reversed the submission hold into a pin to keep Suzuki down for a 3 count. This was very good. Good physicality. Christian and Luchasaurus appeared on the big screen and talked their talk to the winner. Suzuki has one of the great no-sell faces. Like, I can't do it. Only certain people could do it. Suzuki could do it. Kota Ibushi has one of those faces like, I'm going to kill you. Like, and it's good to see Suzuki back. He just beats the hell out of people. Him and Darby, great contrast of styles. Just good stuff all around here. So we're not going to sit here and act like this wasn't great. Good match. Springboard coffin drop looked awesome. So good stuff there. Samoa Joe beat Gravity. Joe looks strong here. Short, muscle buster, TKO. See you later. Gravity. Gravity, I have no idea who this guy is, but he's good at taunting his opponents. We like Gravity. Gravity's cool. And Joe doing the walk away spot while mimicking Gravity was also great. Shout out to Samoa Joe. The Guns and Juice beat Vikingo, Dante Martin, and Action Andretti 310 to Yuma. This was a fun little match. Nothing wrong here. And you can't go wrong with that. We also had CM Punk. So let's talk about this. CM Punk comes out, has an interview with Tony. What's in the bag, Punk? He has the AEW World Heavyweight Championship there. Puts the X on it, spray paints the X over it, and says, this belongs on Collision, and it's mine, and nobody ever pinned me to win the title. Great. Ricky comes out and says he is the face of Collision, and he deserves the title because he's beaten Punk twice already, even though he cheated to do it. Pretty good back and forth here, and great way to set up their first match one-on-one for, I guess, for this title. I guess, and we're gonna see who wins. I fully expect Punk to get his win back, and that's okay. They're gonna shut it down. Now, Kara Hogan, Mercedes Martinez. Mercedes gets the win. Short little match. She beats up on her. Stat comes out to check on Kara Hogan, but she gets whacked over the head with the belt, and then Willow comes out to save Stat. So Mercedes Martinez setting her up for Stat, and then maybe Willow will be the next championship. Willow is having a great year. We're not gonna sit here and dump on Willow. Willow ends up beating Stat for the title. I ain't mad at it. Or at least if they have a feud and Willow brings her way back around, maybe she doesn't beat her on the first go round. She beats her on the second go round. Fine with me. Then we had the main event. FTR, Adam Cole, baby, and MJF. Better than you, baby. I'm not gonna lie. I think FTR should have lost, man. I don't know. I know a lot of people are like FTR. Why would they lose? That's stupid. These guys are idiots. They're comedy, and they're gonna break up anyway. Who cares? I hear everything on Twitter or X. I hear everything on there. But at the end of the day, FTR, MJF, Adam Cole are hot right now. At the end, they didn't even end up breaking up. So you could have had them win. Crazy moment, and then something happens on the next week's Collision, and then they figure out a way to lose the titles in a couple of weeks, and then they have their match at All In or All Out, and they're still friends because win, lose, or draw, they said they weren't going to break up and they were going to still be friends. And Roderick Strong is going to play a part in this, I'm sure. So you could have had them win and then lose in 2-3 weeks. It happens all the time in wrestling. Nobody would have been mad. It's fine. But no, due to this crowd reaction, nobody wants these guys to break up at all. Nobody. So there it is. This was a very good match. Crazy main event. We had just excellent professional wrestling all around. At the end, we had the big rig. We had the big rig, shot machine, whatever the hell you're calling it now. We had the big rig set up for Cole, but MJF takes the bullet, or so we thought. He jumps over Cash, goes to Dax, tries to hit Dax with the heat seeker. Cole comes in and super kicks him out of the way, and then he gets knocked. Cole ends up getting knocked out, and then there was a power driver attempt, but it ended up being a roll up, if I'm not mistaken. But then Dax reversed the roll up and grabbed the tights and got the win. So they pinned the champion, which was crazy. But then again, you don't want Adam Cole to lose before he fights the champion and loses. So I was kind of shocked. I thought they were going to pull the trigger.
Surprise, motherfucker.
But they didn't. And at the end, you know what's coming. They're setting it up. Adam Cole is sitting there in the corner. MJF is sitting there like, this is my fault. I lost. He's almost in tears. He grabs the championship belt and he's like, it's my fault. I got to break away from this guy. And Adam Cole realizes it and he's like, just do it, man. Do what you got to do. Make it quick. Just do what you got to do. And at the end of the day, he gets whacked over his head. Nope, I'm lying. He doesn't get whacked over his head. He turns around, he throws the title on the floor, and MJF is just like, I'm sorry, man. The crowd is like, hug it out, and they hug it out, and everybody's happy. And everybody's still waiting for the heel turn because they're parading in the ring, they're doing the babyface thing, and everybody thinks that they're gonna basically turn on each other, but they don't. So the turn is not to be. And that I love. This was a great show. Great main event. I ain't mad at it. Shout out to AEW Collision. They're doing their thing. Let's see what they end up doing moving forward. Let's talk about Smackdown. So, Smackdown, what happened on the show? Karrion Kross beat Carl Anderson after hitting a pump handle lift DDT. The OC saved him from a post-match beatdown. Adam Peters booked LA Knight and Sheamus in a singles match next week and added them to a battle royal at SummerSlam. LA Knight, yeah. So, shout out to LA Knight. I think he's going to win that battle royal at SummerSlam. I love it. Asuka and Io Sky went back and forth backstage. Bianca Belair and Charlotte beat Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville after Flair choked Deville with after Flair hit Deville with a big boot. This was one of those, they had a segment and then it was a can they coexist type thing. So yeah. LA Knight beat Ashanti the Adonis after coming out and basically to a huge reaction. Everybody loves LA Knight.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Yeah. Everybody loves LA Knight, and he beat Ashanti the Adonis after talking junk because LA Knight, yeah, will be at SummerSlam. We like LA Knight, man. Give the brother a title already and let him run wild. Santos Escobar beat Rey Mysterio via referee stoppage because something happened. Rey Mysterio did his under the rope suicide dive, and he splatted. So maybe he was hurt there because then he did another suicide dive. No, Santos did a suicide dive after that, and Rey got, we believe, legitimately hurt because the referee stopped the match after that. So that kind of took the air out of this show. So it was setting up to be a good show, but then the air got sucked out of the room because Rey Mysterio, who everybody loves, got hurt. So if this is storyline, then I was fooled.
Stupid.
But I don't know why they would do a storyline like this right now because the winner was supposed to fight the winner was supposed to fight Austin Theory, who was looking on in the Raptors. So I don't know. I hope Rey is okay. Referee stoppage is not good because normally these guys power through everything. But hope Rey is okay, man. This kind of sucked the air out of the room, like I said. So we had main event Jay out there. And shortly after he gets out there, we had Roman. And Roman took credit for the Usos' popularity. He said his cousin is second in command with selfish aspirations. Jay said that's not true, and he encouraged, and he said, Reigns, I did everything for this family, but you disrespected everybody, and you drove a wedge into the family. Reigns tried to paint Jay as somebody who did everything to try to get ahead, and his brother Jimmy, he wanted to leave his brother Jimmy behind a couple of years ago in pursuit of a solo title, and even though Jimmy was hurt, we know that. Reigns tried to push Jey Uso's buttons by questioning how the challenger could possibly overcome his most dominant reign in history. And Jey Uso said self-confidence could not be compromised after the tag team special after Jey handled Reigns his first pinfall in 3 years. He said, "How you gonna beat me, man?" He said, "I already beat you. I pinned you already." And everybody was like, "Ooh!" Everybody was sitting there like, I already beat you, Oos. So everybody was sitting there, where's my damn thing? I'm messing up the moment. But everybody cheered. So everybody was going crazy. And then Grayson Waller caught up with Mr. Jey Uso. He had talked about his shortcomings that are to come, especially at SummerSlam. And Uso retaliated by smacking Waller in the face. Later on that evening, Adam Pearce booked the match between the two, in which Jey Uso won. So the blood, and then obviously Solo Sikoa attacked him after the match. Uso ducked a Samoan spike, hit him with a super kick, then took out Roman with a spear. Excuse me. Jay got overzealous with the planned splash, allowing Solo and Reigns to take over the bloodline. They took out Mr. Oos with a spear, Samoan spike. The crowd got mad and started chanting, "You got pinned, you got pinned." and Reigns and Solo delivered a second combo because Roman was pissed. All in all, SmackDown was okay, but it took the wind out of the sails when Ray got hurt. But the Bloodline stuff, as always, is always spectacular. And that's all I have to say about that. This was a good segment, good stuff by the Bloodline. Can't go wrong there. And that's all she wrote. So SmackDown was okay as well. Duly noted, footnotes, there is something going on in the women's division in AEW. There was a former wrestler who came out and tweeted something. You know, Tanya Valkyrie has been getting a lot of shit because she had a bad match with Britt Baker, a rough day at the office. And you know what? Shit happens. You know, don't go around shitting on people just because they had a bad match. When, listen, you can criticize a bad match, but you don't criticize them personally. We've seen everybody make mistakes in the ring, from the Young Bucks to Roman to everybody. Everybody makes mistakes. It's life. You're not perfect. So you want to criticize that and say, hey, rough day at the office? I get that. But to criticize Tanya Valkyrie, people calling her fat and out of shape and ugly and all this other stupidness, criticize the work in the ring, man. Don't criticize the person. What does that have to do with anything? On top of the fact of this wrestler came out and said that there were a lot of backstage politics. Wrestlers with too much power, shitting on people before they even get into the company so that they can't even do anything while they're in the company is ridiculous. And everybody assumed it was Britt Baker, but it wasn't.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Sean Ross Sapp said, listen, it's not Britt Baker. He didn't name names, but he said everybody's talking about is Britt. It's Britt. It's not Britt. Even though Britt and Thunder Rosa had that little spat a year ago and everybody got up in arms over that, at the end of the day, it wasn't her. But at the end of the day, there is something going on in the women's locker room. Now, we all know Tony Khan don't give a shit about women's wrestling. We understand that. Proven by his actions and the way he books the division with all of that women talent and one women's match on AEW every week, we know he don't give a shit about the division. Cool. But at the end of the day, there's a real problem there. Politics are in every single job on the face of the planet. Every job has backstage politics. Every job has politics. Everybody tries to get ahead, positioning themselves to get a better spot, more money, whatever. Whether it's TV, whether it's a movie set, whether it's AEW, wrestling, whether it's a football team, a basketball team, whether it's your job, my job, everybody's job, is always going to be politics because that's the nature of human beings. Everybody wants that top spot. Everybody wants more money. Everybody wants everything. So that's always going to be around. But at the end of the day, it's up to Tony Khan to get the ship right. It's up to Tony Khan to say, listen, you, shut up, sit down. Let's get this thing done. I'm going to book this properly. Or if I don't know what I'm doing, I'm going to help. I'm going to get some help so that it can be booked properly. It's up to TK. Speed of the pack, speed of the leader. Whatever's going on at the top will trickle down. Tony Khan doesn't give a shit about the women's division. They put everything around Britt Baker, which was okay. Britt Baker took a back seat this year. She's done a lot, put a lot of people over this year. She hasn't had the spotlight. Great. She's not a baby face. Make her a goddamn heel. She's still going to sell merch. She's still going to be Britt Baker. DMD, they can chant all they want, but Britt Baker is a heel. She's a heel, goddammit. Turn her, make her a heel. What are you going to do with Toni Storm when she comes back? Is it going to be Britt Baker, Toni Storm? You're going to break them up? Not Toni Storm. Jamie Hayter. What are you going to do with her? What are you going to do with Toni Storm? Why the hell is Athena on Ring of Honor? Athena is probably one of your top 3 women wrestlers, period, in the whole company. One of the best women's wrestlers in the world. But yet Athena is on Ring of Honor TV. Why? That shit makes no sense. Don't you want your best 8+ players on Dynamite or at worst Collision so they get TV time? Stupid. I mean, don't you put your best foot forward? I don't know. Don't make sense. But what Tony Khan needs to do, get a handle on this. If there is backstage crap going on with the women, get a handle on it. Let's get the ship right. The book women's division book the women's division better after the bad match. That sign is perfectly placed. And whatever guy backstage did that in the truck, kudos to you.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Kudos to you, because somebody needs to say it. And TK needs to hear us collectively. We don't think you need to make them the focal point of the damn show, but give them some burn. Give them a story that they can sink their teeth into. Bring up new people. Have people fighting for something. Where's Statlander? Why don't we see Statlander? Where the hell is Thunder Rosa? If she ain't hurt and she's ready to come back, where is she? Where's Miro? Why isn't he in the story yet? Come on. Let's get it together. I love AEW, but they are not above reproach and they are not above being flawed, which they are. So let's figure this out. Let's get this going and let's get it done. Now, real quick, before I go, Spence versus Crawford happened this week. Let's talk about this for a little while. And it was absolute destruction.
Get the fuck out of here!
We had three knockdowns by Terrence Crawford, and then a stoppage in the 9th round. They really could have stopped this shit in the 7th round, to be honest. I seen a lot of people. To me, I thought it was a 50-50 fight. Legit, Bud Crawford, I've been watching him since he beat Gamboa. Since he beat Prescott. And Gamboa was the last time I saw Terrence Bud Crawford in trouble is when he was fighting Gamboa. And that was a long time ago. And that's when Gamboa was Gamboa. And if you watch boxing like I do, then you know Yuri. Don't want to mess up this brother's name, but Gamboa was a goddamn savage. He was a beast, excellent boxer when he was in his prime. And Terrence Crawford beat him. And he had Crawford a little touch and go there in that fight. That was a good back and forth fight. And Terrence Crawford has adjusted his game. He's switched it up. He's a switch hitter. Can fight righty, lefty, doesn't matter. And this brother is really, really good. I didn't know who was going to win. I said it was 50-50. I couldn't even lean. Like I thought Ryan Garcia, when he fought Tank, I thought Tank was going to beat him. But I said that fight 60-40. If he has a good game plan, he got a shot. Ryan's no scrub. Like, I don't care what you say. Ryan's not, he's been put down before, but he needed to focus in on the ring. But Ryan was game. And Ryan, even after the first knockdown, he was game. He came right back at Tank after that knockdown and was like, man, fuck it. Let's go. So I will never sit up here and say that Ryan wasn't game. But I thought that was 60-40. I favored Tank. I thought Tank was the better boxer, the bigger puncher, and he had a little bit more experience than Ryan. And it showed. It showed. And this fight, I truly was like, I don't know. Spence, pressure fighter. Everybody folds. Terrence. Listen, I said that they were both big punchers. But I thought that Spence was a bit bigger because he is a bit bigger than Spence is a bit bigger than Crawford. Even though Crawford was a little higher, they met at 147 and Spence was already at 147. Terrence had to get up to 147. But he looked like the bigger puncher. He looked like the stronger man, like physical stature. He looked like the stronger man. He had the better game plan. He jabbed, controlled distance. I haven't seen a beautiful performance. I haven't seen a more beautiful performance like that since Arturo Gatti Floyd Mayweather. Just totally one-sided. No, don't get me twisted. Errol Spence was game. But I think after the first knockdown, he just never recovered mentally. It's like, I don't think it was nerves because it's not like he hasn't been in a big stage before. But I just think he never recovered mentally. And, he got knocked down 3 times. And each time he got right back up. He didn't give a shit. He got right back up. And he was still putting pressure. But towards the end of the fight, Terrence had him backing up. And Errol doesn't back up. Errol's not a backup fighter. He's a pressure fighter that literally breaks down his opponents. And he's a big puncher. And he beats people. People's faces get rearranged after they fight Terrence. but Terrence just didn't look strong. It reminds me of Tito Trinidad versus Bernard Hopkins. Bernard Hopkins took away his best weapon and then controlled him the whole fight. And Tito that night, obviously huge puncher, Tito Trinidad, but he just didn't look strong. Hopkins just looked stronger than him, like mentally, physically, everything. And Terrence was trying. He never gave up. He was trying. He was game, and he went out on his shield. He did. They could have stopped it in the seventh. They stopped it in the ninth. And what really shocked me was Terrence Crawford's composure. He was just composed, stoic. Didn't get to. He had Errol hurt multiple times. Didn't blink an eye. He didn't get excited. He didn't go, I got him hurt. Try to go for the knockout. He just stayed composed, stayed in the pocket, moved his feet faster, quicker, stronger. Totally one-sided fight. Outside of the first round, it was all Bud. 100 respect to Bud. I thought it was 50-50. A lot of people picked Spence. A lot of people picked Bud. Boxing community was split. But that was a masterful performance. And now Terrence Bud Crawford is the man in boxing. To be the man, you got to beat the man, and he beat the man. So, respect to Bud, Don DeMarco. Bud is a beast. Final thoughts on the fight. If they fight again at 154, if Spence doesn't make adjustments, it's going to be, I think, more of the same. I think he'll make it to the end of the fight, but Bud doesn't really need to do anything else. He needs to do what he did, and he'll win again. But Spence needs to go back to the drawing board and adjust. And I really hope he was okay. He has a Texas accent, so he's a country boy, lives on a farm. But at the end of the day, he didn't sound good to me in that interview post-fight. He was like, I tried. He just, hard to explain, but he didn't look right. I hope he didn't have a concussion. He was talking a little bit slurrier than usual, if that makes sense. And I just hope that he's okay. He was alert. He was coherent. I'm sure he didn't feel good the next day, but I never seen, it's like he took 2 punches and his face just started swelling up. I mean, listen, Terrence Bud has hurt people before and their face didn't look crazy like that. Spence he's been hurt before. He's been rocked a couple of times, but we didn't see all of these knots on his face. So I don't know. It was shocking to see Spence get beat up like that. But at the end of the day, Spence is a dog, man. Spence is a dog. You don't survive a car crash and come back from what he came back from without being a dog, without having the will and the heart of a champion, which he is and was. You don't get 3 belts coming for the 4th belt without being a dog and being a champion and having the heart of a champion. But I just hope he's okay. So if he enacts his rematch clause, which they say he did, and they fight at 47, if it was hard for him to make the weight, it's going to be hard for him to make the weight again. But if he made the weight, okay, and he could make the weight one more time, okay, in 6 months, 8 months, after he heals up, trains again, then he's going to have to adjust if he's going to beat Bud, because Bud is only going to look better at 147 now. Now he's the king at 147. And if somebody beats you once, if you fight the same way and they run it back, he's only going to look stronger. So Spence has to make the adjustment. Spence has to make the adjustment, and then we'll see a better fight. So if they fight at 154, I still favor Crawford because Crawford already beat him. So we'll see. We'll see. That's all I got. So with that being said, I'm out. I know this is a wrestling channel, but goddamn it, I had to talk about one of the fights of the year between 2 pound-for-pound fighters in their prime. So with that being said, RJD here. What the Wrestling? I am out. Everybody be safe. I'll holler at y'all later. Monday Night Raw review tomorrow. Catch that. Peace.